Oh, hey folks, how you doing there? Coming to you today on all things Tuesday, July 26th. And well, let me just say, number one, I'm not afraid to use somebody else's ideas. If it's a good idea, there's a possibility I'll adapt off and I will use it to my own, well, best execution thereof. Case in point, I was reading up in the, let's see, volume 70, issue 14. Oh, geez, what is this guy? It's like the June. I think it's roughly like about the June firearms news. And there's an article by David Fortier where he's talking about something he calls a farm gun. And literally, what it is, it's a oh, let's see what is this guy. It's a Rock River Arms lower. It's a Model One sales pencil barrel. So he's running the very lightest upper that he possibly can run. And of all things, he pretty much built the thing to be a just a farm gun, grab go, just in case, blah blah blah. It's got a point sun on board, it's got a flashlight on board. It's flashlight on board at about the 11 o'clock position, so you can thumb it on from the forend. And of all these things I was looking at on this firearm, was the one thing that got my attention was the the kind of like look here was the actual forend, which is a Magpul MOE SL, which I'd never even heard of, never even seen, but it's really kind of cool because if you look at the picture here, and I'm going to kind of like show you guys a little bit of a close up, it actually does enclose and it does kind of enclose and cover up the front sight base to give you almost a rifle length of handguard on a carbine length of distance from front sight base to front upper receiver. And it gives you more real estate, gives you places, because it's basically that keymont thing or the rail thing that everybody seems to be going with nowadays, where you basically put stuff in the slots and it's a lot of good stuff on board. Basically there's going to need to be a couple of minor mods. When this goes on there, you have to remove the front sling swivel, so you basically got to punch that rivet out. Not a deal breaker. If you want to put it back in, just put another rivet in place. Bing, bing, bing. It's in place. It's not hard to put a rivet in, peen it over, and make it fit the front sling swivel again. It's not rocket science. You can do that. So anyway, I was looking at this thing over, and I'm like looking through my own arsenal, looking through my armory, and I'm like, you know what? What is the one thing that kind of seems to be more bulky than it really truly needs to be? And moving around, doing one of my, usual training things where I occasionally do this. I'll grab a rifle, basically have a mag in there, make sure, absolutely sure there's nothing in the chamber, and basically CQB my own house and pretend, that I'm now engaging room to room, pie slicing everything, worst case scenario, working it through my head that it's now muscle memory, where to look, where to point, don't shoot there because there's somebody that's going to be sleeping in that room, go to this angle versus that angle, pretty much clearing stuff as I need to. And the thing that came to mention to me was the fact that, well, it is a heavy barrel firearm. So it's fairly heavy in the upper receiver anyway, so it's really kind of front heavy. It does have the ready mag on board, so it's got two magazines already. That's pretty good amount of weight. Has another 20 rounder and a butt carrier for another Magpul 20 round magazine. So it's picking up some mass. Now, of all things, and you guys know I am an absolute whore for these things. I am a huge fan of ARMS, Atlantic Research and Machining. Those guys make just stuff that I just think looks, so kind of cool. But it's already on a heavy barrel rifle for, carbine length. It's already got a couple of detractors. It's got an extra 7, 8, 9, 10 ounces, whatever on board. And it's got more mass. I didn't go the way that Fortia did, with the pencil barrel. That's one of my other builds that I kind of did. But the case in point is it's got more mass. So I looked over it and I said, you know what, that Magpul SOE or Magpul MOESL is going to be the guy. So literally what it is a very snug fitting two-part unit, has a metal heat shield. So that is a metal heat shield, and it kind of works a little bit almost like the Knights, Sir or Sis or whatever the heck that thing is, where you basically have the RIS, that's what it is, RIS or RAS, where you have the rail interface, and it's like the window that's left over is actually what gives you room to put the M203 on your rifle length. And most of the military now they're going to carbine length 5.56 weapons. I'm not a huge fan of that. I like I'm carbine length versus rifle length. I like rifle length stuff. Carbine, I'm grabbing in the house because it's 4 inches less. You get more ability to swing around without knocking on the walls and stuff. But of all things, I was looking around and one of my friends, read associates, read somebody's that I deal with a little bit, minor kind of things. And it's one of the Facebook groups I was in, and the gentleman said he had the MOE SL4 end and the appropriate, really seriously set up now, Magpul, basically the AFG that corresponds with this guy. It is the latest iteration. It's not that kind of stretchy, rubbery kind of thing. No, 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 no. This guy is set up to actually go in the little key mod guys, has the little, T-head guys that go into the slots, lock it in place, and all the rest of the good stuff. And this thing feels, it feels, okay? It really feels like something that's very substantial when you click them in place. And, it's going to be a good setup. And I'm going to put this on the HouseToy. So the HouseToy is going to lose some, inches, ounces, and it's basically going to make things just a bit better. The other thing I think was really kind of cool about this was knowing the way that I look over stuff in history, firearms related items and what have you. I have always thought it was one of the coolest things the way the Germans did it on the MP40, also known as the machine and pistol of 1940, or their subgun, basically the MG that has the really, really slow rate of fire. I mean, that thing is like, it's like 450, 500 rounds per minute. It's just like, duck, 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 duck. It's not a huge rate of fire. But one of the coolest things they actually did was they put a way for you to put it over a wall and like a troop carrier or something, and you won't get the rounds banging around inside the weapon from, them into the people inside the troop carrier because you have this little brace to lock it on. Also, this is going to be a hell of a lot cheaper than this, and it is a sacrificial part. So the cool part is you beat up this little handrail guy versus beating up the bigger piece that you're trying now to be somewhat nice to. And you can just basically make it kind of do that MP40 thing where you now have something to brace on. Or if you want to go even crazier than that, you simply just run it backwards where you really can brace it up against something. You don't have to worry about bodgering, or, buggering up your stuff. And as a wear and tear item, you're not going to cry about it if you bugger this up versus buggering this up. This is the wear piece. So all good things. Also, it's going to be quite a bit lighter than that arms setup that I have on there, which is, really, really a big honking piece of aluminum. And, it's got all the bells and whistles on board. So it's picking up mass, okay? Literally what it is, it has got literally a carry handle that flips over, and then it's this long enclosure that covers over the handguard area, and it's a pretty, that's the other too, it's a pretty substantial piece of meat. Now, I could take this thing off, I could put it back on at my leisure, and yes, I do actually have it in my collection now, so I don't need to go and source one now, because the prices of those things are going, and they've never gone, they actually did have a time when it went, but that time has passed. That bird is flown, that dog is hunted, and then now I've kind of fallen out of favor with a lot of people because they're going to lighter stuff. And a lot of people tend to be building their AR-15s to be not even, but just quick, whippy, easy carry. Why carry something that weighs 15 pounds if you're only trying to make the thing a CQB weapon? It doesn't make sense. You're now going, trying to swing the thing, and it's like literally like trying to swing around a 16-inch gun on an Iowa-class battleship. It's just too much, okay? You don't need to have 15 pounds swinging around. You're not carrying an M60, okay? You don't need to engage that kind of, serious case of just extra mass needed for recoil reduction and all these other bells and whistles and stuff. Truthfully, if you're running a house gun, truly, the only two things you really need on a house gun, let's say three things. The only three things you really need on a house gun truly is going to be 1, a sling, 2, a flashlight, 3, a point sight for good fact and function that red dot on target equals target hit. Not just in case you're trying to get sights lined up and what have you. If you get proper cheek weld and you put the dot on the target, it's going to hit. And when you have a flashlight on board, it gets even more interesting because then dude's walking around your house, you basically go, first and foremost, dude, what are you doing in my house? And they're going to go, yeah, just that simple and easy. If you're going from complete and total darkness to, you're going to get their attention. And if you even have something better than that, and you have one of these guys, it's called serious, major, and complete and total disorientation. Flashlights are a butt saver in the dark. All right, folks, I'm going to break off on this one. But you know what? If you need to think something through and make it easier on yourself, number one, it's just like the old classic one. Inches make pounds, pounds make weight, weight makes your life suck if you're a troop in any branch of the service. You know extra crap is just more weight to carry. So think along that same lines. If you're doing something tactical, if you're doing something home protection related, you don't need 50 effing things on your gun. As a matter of fact, you probably could even omit the sling. But you know what? If I got the situation where I'm engaging somebody and then the cops show up, if I drop that rifle in a sling and it's hanging on my body, it looks a hell of a lot better. I'm going, oh, excuse me, officer, hang on a second. Let me just put this down. No, you don't want that, okay? If you have it on a sling, you then basically could say, look, weapon's unsafe, weapon's hot. You want me to take it off, or do you want to take it off? Put the onus on them to save your bacon. Do not go, hey, cop, how you doing here? Let me show you my weapon. No, that's a good way to collect some bullets. Don't do that to yourself. But trying to make your stuff lighter, easier, more functional, and if nothing else, make it so that it's intuitive when you pick it up. If nothing else, when you have this handguard on here, you have muscle memory. You know you are locked in correctly every single time. Muscle memory is how you do stuff with great rapidity without even thinking about it. It's because you do it the same way every single time because that's how you're practiced up. All right, folks, I'm going to break up on this one. Eat good, keep centering. As always, you know and you love it. Don't forget about the podcast later on. roundthecabin.com/campfire. See you guys there at 9 o'clock. And, well, make your stuff lighter. Less crap to carry. Good times. All good stuff. See ya.